This is your daily market review for Monday, April 28th, 2025. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review, Monday, April 28th, 2025. Hopefully you had a great weekend. A good week. Again, apologize, didn't do any recaps, was out of town playing golf with some buddies and had a great time. And yeah, as we talked about, market seemed to be holding up. We've been in a position where we think, again, small caps, materials, commodities, all your favorite, get dirty type of names that have been hurt by tariffs, but also the reason why tariffs are important ultimately for manufacturing are what, again, seem to be the best ideas. And again, when we say ideas, it's what we're looking at. Again, personally, you guys have to figure out, as we talk about, this is a probability-based channel for education, which your goal is to figure out what is best for you. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But again, it's to guide and educate. And so if you have any questions, please don't be shy. As you guys know, this is all for fun. And the goal is to really education here, especially with trying to figure out the best trade ideas, the best thoughts, the best way to ultimately educate yourself to make money. Because again, the goal is to become the best trader you can be. So again, I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. Again, we don't ever collect anything. It is just for fun and for free. And hoping that, people get educated, because there's a lot here. And so if you want to join the Discord room, again, people are posting ideas and thoughts, and we've got tons of education here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Also posting thoughts and ideas on Twitter. If you would like to connect, use the link in Calendly. Let's chat. Take 30 minutes, see how I can help you. Again, completely free. Would love to connect, whether you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate. Hey, you need to find the best agent anywhere in the country. We got you covered. You want to talk about the markets. You want to talk about, just you want to get education. You want to feel like, you need to talk to someone who can be completely honest with you with no intentions other than trying to help. Because again, I appreciate all the love, support. Again, I do this for myself, and I love, if people want to learn, grow, try to figure this out. Again, this is the place to do it. I appreciate you guys. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on Twitter and YouTube. Again, I appreciate it. Posting ideas and thoughts. And here, again, links to all the education series. If you want to check out tradingagent.com, again, all the recaps, recommended reading, some ideas. Again, if you have questions about real estate, you're looking to invest in the markets, and you have questions about, hey, you just need some education. Like, how do I open an account? What are these charts? What are the things you're talking about in these videos? Do not be shy. And again, the goal is to turn profits into properties and passive income. And the goal for this being turn profits is you. This is on you to grow. Because again, I've always said that ultimately education is the goal here. You want to become a self-fulfilled, understanding person of the market so that you can manage money for yourself. You don't need to go to some broker to spend 2 to 3% compounded annually to manage your money, when the reality is you can do it on your own. I promise you, it's not that hard. All right, so we know the fear and greed index has started to pop up. Not surprised. We were at extremes at 3. We talked about how that could probably lead to bounces in the market and pops. There you go. Near term, again, we're not even back at neutral. So again, the best idea, in my opinion, is to continue to look at this. Like, if you go from 3, we're at least going to probably go back to neutral to greed by the time this actually peaks. Now, we're in earnings season. If you're not familiar, earnings season is very dangerous, because good news, the stock can go up. Good news, the stock can go down. Bad news can go down, can go up with the stock. You don't know. You don't know what's priced in. So that's where we talk about, if you want to hedge, manage the position, you need to make sure that you are not flying blind. As we talk about, the first mouse gets the trap, second mouse usually gets the cheese. And meaning, let things happen. Let them play out and then react. No need to try to anticipate everything in the market, because that's how you get destroyed. All right, CME Watch Tool. We know there's a meeting coming up on May 7th. Come on, refresh, eat fresh, refresh. And the odds of a cut, pretty much 0. Now, if that changes, we'll watch the odds, but at this point, not so much. Sorry, I want to talk about Bitcoin. Again, a lot of people have questions. Again, I love to show you the evidence based on reoccurring patterns, thought processes. You make the decision. That's what we talk about. Like, this isn't some sort of I don't know, but the best way to describe it is this isn't like some like Jim Cramer crap where you call in and you're trying to like, oh, what do you think of this stock? We didn't know. We can't. We don't do that. Our job is to help educate you based on the recurring patterns, recurring themes within the markets, because everything is nothing new. Again, if you've ever read, I'm going to go into this for 2 seconds. If you've ever read Reminiscent Stock Operator, again, a friend of mine called me up and was like, holy crap, how have I not read this book? I've been watching the markets forever. I never understood how operators work. Well, there you go. It's all recurring patterns. People are the same as they've always been. Fear, greed, FOMO, want to get rich quick. I mean, it's these emotions have not changed and the patterns reoccur. So for example, big up in Bitcoin leads to consolidation. Big up in Bitcoin leads to consolidation. We said, you got to watch the 93, 94,000. If you can get over it, your guess is as good as mine where it goes next. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it went back to all-time highs. But if it fails here, then it also could go back down to the channel lows. That's the probability game here. You're in a trading channel. You got to watch the levels. Oil, we talked about it being oversold based on the recurring formation period. All right, now what? Chop? I know people who are talking about, oh, Dan, oil's going to drop. It's going to get crushed. I don't have an opinion on it. Other than as long as we hold these mid 60s, I can't really say that I know for anything. Like, I don't feel confident in going lower. Like when you zoom out, as posted in the Discord room, again, if you said the headlines, it looks like the administration is going to refill the SPR. That's going to put demand for oil. What does that do to the price? Your guess is good as mine, but if there's demand there, probably due to what? You know what? Natural gas, we talked about. Nice pop. Failed at the range highs, coming back down the range lows. Seems to be holding. Keep an eye on it. Let's get into some of these stocks. Because again, I apologize. I've been gone for like a week. And I don't apologize. I deserve a vacation every once in a while. We talked about the dollar getting absolutely slaughtered. Okay. Now, near term, I mean, it's oversold. You keep an eye on this. Because again, we're at important levels. Is it due to bounce? Seems like it could be. TLT, again, we talked about rates going lower. After you retested the lows, seems to be a double bottom. Take it for what it is. Again, you're making higher lows, potentially higher highs off the bottom. Keep an eye on it. I mean, it looks like, as we talked about, the Feds want to cut rates. Well, does that mean ultimately that interest rates will probably be going lower? Recession? I mean, again, if you're checking out the data coming up this week, you have the GDP data. The GDP data is going to be telling you what? That we're going from 2.4% down to what? 1.3. Again, tons of economic data this week, tons of earnings. Again, you should, if you're not following that stuff, make sure you know what data is coming this week. And again, if you're trading stock and you don't know when its earnings are, oh my God, please be watching. I mean, you got to do your own due diligence. No one's here to, you own your choices, you pay your dues, you learn. But ultimately, again, that looks like a retest of the lows. Higher lows, higher highs. Seems like it's trading in a channel. We've talked about a recurring pattern, so maybe it goes back up to the channel high. Worth a watch. The VIX. Talked about the VIX getting crushed. Typically, after it rises, get up into crash zones. And then what? I've only seen VIX 60s 5 times in the last 20 years. We've talked about every time that's happened, the VIX typically what? Dropped. Recurring pattern. Don't have to be a rocket scientist, rocket surgeon, whatever you want to call it. Now back at the 50-day, probably due to bounce. I'd be watching it. Again, we don't know anything for sure. It's a probability-based game. So when you're watching this, you go, okay, you go overbought, maybe oversold near term. Now again, I wouldn't be surprised ultimately the VIX comes back down into the teens because that's what it typically does. Like volatility doesn't elevate for long, forever. Think about it, right? Like the market is a really good discounting mechanism, meaning like the market looks at the future and goes, all right, we know what's coming. Tariffs. I mean, again, we don't know anything with the wild card and administration, but I mean, like, things like, okay, well, worst case scenario gets priced in. That's the market's really good at doing. Like, think about every market crash, even when the market crashed for COVID, like they priced in like the end of the world. Guess what? The world didn't end, and then the markets ripped right back. Same thing, 2008, 2009, .com bubble again. Prices all in. Market, doji sandwich potentially here. We've had a nice run, little choppiness. The gap is still right here. Like, I don't know why we wouldn't come back to fill the gap. Again, going into earnings. I mean, technically, probably overbought near term, but we're barely over the highs from the beginning of April. Now, we know the end of the month is coming. Go check out the monthly candle, right? Like, that's where I'd be cognizant of. Look at this. Is this a big hammer? bottom? It's tough to know. I mean, I'm not going to say that you can't go back to the highs, or we don't have some more weakness coming in time. But that's a really interesting formation. We've talked about it. Again, if you're long-term bearish, I got it too, but also be aware of that long-term administration's trying to cut capital gains to zero. They're trying to get income tax zero for people under 200,000. And again, he's talking about accelerated depreciation, 1 year depreciation on all investment assets. Like that's going to be stimulative. And if the market sees that coming, do you think people want to be buying, or do you think want people to be selling? I mean, whether it happens or not, that's not really the point, but the market's going to start pricing in maybe that could happen, and that's where you have to be careful. And again, I'm not saying I don't know from those positions. We've come back to bounce. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a little consolidation here. Keep an eye, same thing with the QQQ. Again, I think QQQs are going to lag. IWM is my favorite long-term sector. My choice, again, I like small and mid caps. It makes sense. Again, the thesis is based on reoccurring patterns. It's not like we're recommending anything other than just do your homework. Meaning that, again, if the small caps have lagged for 5 years, what are they going to probably do going forward? Especially if they're smaller names, industrials, commodity companies, stuff that's again, whether you're pro-American or not, I don't care. But money has been going to flow out of foreign countries that are getting tariffed, or countries where the manufacturing is coming back. That's where the small caps lead. And look how they look. Pretty damn good. Way over April 8th, 9th lows. DIA, keep an eye on this one, right? Worth a watch. Again, I don't really watch the Dow as much. It's just, again, people talk about it. All right, let's go into it. The gold. We've talked about this. This is a hard one. We talked about the top feels like it's in based on just the reoccurring formation. Again, you take it whether you want with it. High volume at the highs in a formation. Again, if you know these, again, reoccurring patterns, high volumes, capitulation at the high. Okay, now you're getting a little bounce. I don't really know if I'd be bullish or bearish at this point. I mean, that's your call. But it's hard to trust it when silver is just been chopping around, not making new highs. Miners definitely gotten a little bounce here. See what happens here. GDXJ. Junior miners should be leading. They seem to be lagging. We've talked about second quarter. Go read the Stock Traders Almanac. Go Google this if you've not confirmed this. Second quarter is usually consolidation or down in gold, precious metals. That's the seasonality of it. I don't know the why. I'm not going to tell you how I can know anything for certain. No. But that's the reoccurring pattern. And so if you're familiar with the reoccurring pattern, then you know, okay, that's what it is. Just is what it is. Keep an eye on this stuff. AEM has been the leader, holding up really well. Seems to be a little stuck. Again, high volume at the highs, high volume at the lows can be a recurring pattern potentially for reversal. AG has been lagging. Can't really trust it. Newmont filled the gap in the 858 area. Chopping around. Newmont, sorry, just sipping on a little coffee. PAAS, same kind of thing. Chopping around. Don't know for sure. Keep an eye on this stuff. Again, I personally don't know. I would leave it alone for Q2. That's my guess. Taiwan Semi, again, we talked about tech is going to lag this cycle because, again, once you build too many chips, you're going to have too many chocolate chips out there. And again, oversupply, great products, demand waning, you got a problem. Taiwan Semi, again, ultimately, a lot of these names have pulled back. Don't be surprised by the bounce. Micron, this thing's been a dog. But even dogs can bark a little bit. Gets cut in more than half. I'd be watching what happened. Again, I can't tell you for sure what's going to happen. Again, my job is not to recommend stocks. It's just to show you that the evidence potentially, and you decide. You decide. AMD, same kind of thing. A lot of these names have gotten crushed. I expect them to bounce because they're oversold. Keep an eye on it. NVIDIA, talked about how this was like the obvious short of 2025 because, again, it's been up so big. It's a $3 trillion company. Law of large numbers. Probability said what? Here you go. Peaking out here. Now we're coming down. Again, you do what you got to do. We've talked about I wouldn't make any moves in between the channel. Going into earnings, this is tough. Your guess is as good as mine. SMCI, this has been interesting, right? They got all sorts of accounting issues. Who knows what their numbers are going to be? You got to be careful here. Again, I personally don't really have a beef in the game. Intel, we talked about this one. At some point, probably does get bought out as some sort of I don't know if someone wants to get U.S. exposure, they're not going to probably pay a premium though. We've talked about you could play the trading range. We love trading ranges. Again, this is purely the easiest educational trading thing that you can do. Okay, see the ranges, play the bottom, broaden bakes, you're gone. Look for the top, pop, got it. AVGO, interesting, big buyback, making new highs off the lows. Again, I struggle with their long term on this because again, Apple is dumping them as, not needing their supply. SMH, apologize, a little congested, chopping around, bouncing back to resistance. Keep an eye on this. Again, we don't know anything for certain, obviously, but watch the levels. I mean, it's the same thing as Livermore talking about. This is such 101 potential stuff for some people, and they don't recognize it. And I get it. Definitely worth a watch. Adobe, we talked about this one, like chopping at the lows, looking to bounce. There you go. Applesauce, we talked about it bouncing, pulling back. Now you're back near the range highs. I'd be watching if you can get into this gap. Could it go higher? Possibly. Amazon, again, earnings. Remember, Apple, Amazon earnings all coming. This one's been kind of clocked down here at the lows. Again, going into earnings, be careful. Meta has earnings after the close on Wednesday. If you are in this stock, any of these stocks, do not be surprised that they go wherever direction they want to go. But here's the thing, right? If you are long, short, whatever you're doing, manage your position. That's all I would ask. Don't get crazy. Don't go nuts. Don't put yourself in a position to get destroyed. Because again, if you've got options or you've got some stock and you haven't booked gains, gains can be taken, folks. Good old CRM. This one looks like a little double bottom after a double top. Worth a watch. Guggenheim, again, earnings coming up, I think third next week, but worth watching. These have some nice bounces following the market. Microsoft has earnings coming up. We talked about how they usually do well with the dollar down, building over the 50-day. Again, we don't know with earnings. NDAQ, again, I think this is one of the laggards ultimately long-term because, again, I think this exchange won't see the volume. You do it what you want. Seems to be chopping it back here to the 200-day, 50-day. MicroStrategy, we talked about this 340 level and Bitcoin. There you go. Keep an eye on it. Netflix, this one's holding up really well, guys. We've talked about this. I mean, they had announced their earnings, guidance. I don't trust Netflix. Again, I don't think there's really much a barrier to entry, but hey, they're raising prices and people are still watching TV. Death and taxes. People watching TV, prices going up. Good combination. We'll see what happens up here. Again, congrats if you've been long. Nothing on that. Roblox, we talked about it holding the 200-day. Seems to be bouncing. CrowdStrike. Again, we've liked cybersecurity names. Again, I mean, if you think there's going to be cybercrime and cyber issues coming up, I mean, these stocks, again, makes sense to potentially own. Again, you have to decide what's the best level. I'm just laying out the fundamental idea on this, not recommending doing anything because, again, ultimately, you have to decide. I can't be your decision maker. I don't hit enter for you. I don't make the decision. I'm trying to educate you. You watch the levels. We talked about Coop and talked about in the Discord room saying, looked like there's some activity going on within the options. There you go. Nice bounce. Same thing we like Pan W. Same kind of idea. Cybersecurity names. We talked about it on any dip. Look at this thing. Just running. Keeping on it. Tesla. Earnings last week. Sorry I wasn't around for that. But look at this. Breaking the downtrend. Chopping. Whether you like Elon or not, I don't know. I mean, again, 200-day. What's ironic is you're right back at the range highs. Crapola. Good, come on. Let me give me this box. I'm trying to get this box here. You're back at the range highs. Keep it simple, stupid. You need to get over it. So you broke the downtrend. Great. Get over it because this looks now like a big consolidation channel. Just keep an eye on it. All right, let's get into some of the stock we also follow. Palantir, we talked about this thing. It's been a favorite. Ripping. Insight, again, I think the stock gets bought out at some point because they have great pipeline potential. Watch the levels. We don't know anything for certain, right? But just keep an eye on it. HIMS, we talked about this. Like, there's no barrier to entry into HIMS or HERS. Again, Amazon is talking about doing online pharmacy stuff. All I would recommend is just be careful watching the stock. I don't trust it. BABA, we talked about if the trade deals start mellowing out, BABA could pop. I mean, this thing is dropped pretty big. Keep an eye on it. McDonald's, this one's been consolidating at the highs. If it breaks out, worth a watch. Starbucks, again, I personally think that their coffee sucks. We talked about the short, people taking shorts up near the highs. Now you're bouncing around. I don't have much on it. Airbnb, again, some of these times we just watch stocks. Nice little bounce. Coin, talk about, I mean, these exchanges. I mean, we talked about this double bottom here. bouncing. I mean, you got to get over that trend line to really fucking confirm it. DKNG again, we talked about this bouncing, chopping around. Not really much of enthusiasm for companies that are involved in online gambling. Not surprised. Again, if the economy's weak, online gambling not going to be probably the strongest sector. Costco, chopping around. We talked about this has been on a huge run. You probably need to manage your trades. Take profits, hedge, do whatever you got. FedEx, here you go. Another one, chopping around. Seems okay. XLF, we talked about the financials bouncing. Got the bounce. Filling some gaps, chopping around. Again, near term, tough to talk about. Tough to know. Hood, we talked about this one was a nice bounce from the 200-day. You're over that 47 area. Keep an eye on it. Again, personally, just raise your stops if you're not sure. Keep it simple, stupid. JP Morgan, same kind of thing, expecting these to bounce in the oversold position. Again, a recurring pattern. This isn't rocket science. Now you're back at some levels where you might chop around. Morgan Stanley, same kind of thing. Back to the 200-day moving average, worth a watch. Bank of America, chopping around. Goldman Sachs, 200-day, keep an eye on it, filling the gap. Again, these could all roll over. We talked about when the KRE was holding up really well compared to like the market. Okay, again, you're over the April 8th, 9th bottom lows. Keep it honest. Needs to get over 55. Keep it simple, stupid. We talked about XBI. This is what's interesting, right? We talked about like junior bios, typically a risk-on name. Okay, getting the bounce. Worth the while. You're now in the resistance zone. I could drag that red line over. I'm trying to move faster. Jets dropping around. Even the housing stocks, right? Bouncing, chopping around. Is the worst priced in? I don't know. Let's get into commodity names. My favorite sector, as we talked about. Again, I like these names. You do what you got to do. Dow over the 20-day. We talked about the capitulation. Look at the volume at the lows. CE, right? This one didn't have as great a volume, but watching the 20-day. Caterpillar. Again, these names have been holding up really well. Deere, especially Deere, right? Chopping around, holding up near the range highs. You do you, boo. Keep an eye on it, right? Like that's Deere again. If you're thinking ag stuff, it makes sense. Nucor has earnings coming up, if I remember correctly, right? Or they already have it. I can't remember. No, Shiitake Mushrooms is after the close. What did they end up doing? I'm going to pull that real quick. Again, I apologize for the long video. I'm a little chatty today. Briefing. Sorry, get this off the screen. Nucor beats on revs, seeing solid demand. After hours, it is kind of flat. 116.60. Well, we'll see what happens here. Again, I like steel names. I mean, if you're going to rebuild, you got to rebuild. You need materials. X, again, we talk about Nippon Steel is going to buy these names out. Makes sense if they would bounce, right? Keep it on it, right? Where's the watch? IIAN. Look at this name, right? Again, we talked about this. Held the channel low, breakout. Next stop, I don't know. Mid upper 30s, worth a watch. VALE, this was a bear trap at the lows. Now bouncing back. You got that pattern where you broke below the lows and you're bouncing back. Watch the 200-day. Arrow. Again, you can't. How do you not like junior copper if you're going to build out this green future, right? Nice run. Just slowly building back. All right, I'd be watching this 14 area. If it break over it, watch out. FQVLF, another interesting one, right? Seems to be trading in a choppy range. I'd be watching this, just the range. Keep it simple, stupid. SCCO, again, we talked about copper names. Worth a watch. Nice bounce. I mean, they look way, I mean, look at this. April 9th. I mean, they're way above. Somebody knows something, right? Like, that's what we talk about. Someone always knows something. Copper names look scary good. URNJ, again, we talked about how, how badly have these names been destroyed, right? Basically from 31 down to 11 and change. There you go. Worth a watch. CCJ earnings after the close on, what date is it? No, Thursday morning. Talking about, again, watching the 36 level. Nice bounce. Keep an eye on it. CF, again, we like ag names. Makes sense. People got to eat. Right? These things have been pulverized. You do what you got to do. We talked Mosaic. You could watch the channel lows. Now look, breaks the downtrend. I was out of town. I apologize. Looks great. SQM, another one. Right? Probably worth watching down here. NTR, again, we talked about the ag names. Got to watch them. Again, the recurring patterns, holding trend lines, holding channels. They look good. AA Aeron had earnings. Alcoa chopping around, seems to be basing down here. It looks okay to me. You have a double bottom, triple, quadruple bottom. I don't know. Looks great. Kalu, again, aluminum name. Look at this starting to bounce. Looks good. NP, we talked about this rare earth metal. Seems to be chopping around. Even Cleveland Cliffs, we talked about again. A lot of these names capitulated, massively destroyed, oversold. Probability say what? Probably going to bounce. Solar, we talked about solar being kind of crap, but even solar bouncing, right? Again, I don't trust some like Sedge or ENPH. Again, I keep an eye on them just to watch. But ENPH had earnings last week. I mean, that could be a little bit of a capitulation. First Solar, we talked about this one, so showing the option action. Somebody's buying this. I mean, your guess is good as mine ultimately where it goes near term, but somebody's doing something with it. HYG, again, we talked about, you got to hide your mind about corporate debt, but look at the bounce back. Doesn't look bad, right? Oil, again, it's interesting it dropped today on the refill in the SPR, but was that priced in and now you buy the rumor, sell the news, and now it consolidates? Worth to watch. I hate the UNG. Again, I've talked about this. I think this product decays too fast to really trust. If you were wanting to play natural gas, you could short the KLD. That's one idea that, again, if you just do your own research, this thing decays. Like we talked about watching for the low 30s, you got it. XOP, another gift when this thing was up by 100. There you go. Nice bounce. We talked about the gush in the 15, 16 level. Made sense. Keep an eye on it. We talked about gasoline names, typically bottom first. Seem to be holding up pretty dang well, especially coming off the lows. Right? Valero, MPC, ExxonMobil. I mean, this thing was about to break out a couple weeks ago to new all-time highs. Comes back, now chopping. Worth a watch. BP. This is one we talked about potentially a gift, back testing the trend line. You got it. Nice little bounce. Occidental again. We talked about Buffett's buying this. Keep an eye on it again. I mean, the capitulation. Look at the volume there. Pretty stout. Now bouncing back. Devon Energy, same kind of thing, right? A lot of these names got just cooked. Your guess is good as mine. APA, keep an eye on it, right? Lyondell Base. Just remember, some of these names have earnings, and they could kitchen sink the quarters. CVE, we talked about this one, gift down in the 10s. EQT, this one's been holding up really well. Is it going to break out? Keep an eye on this, right? And last but not least, Flex LNG again. The LNG trade, again, exporting, we've talked about like Europe is going to try to do a deal. We're going to try to do a deal with Europe about natural gas exporting. Like, people don't want to continue to feed Russia. So, again, if that's the case, then we talk about like the beneficiary could be United States natural gas exporting companies. Here's one. Keep an eye on it. So, again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys have a wonderful evening. Hit me up if you ever have questions. Appreciate you guys. Peace.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, your PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.